Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to our inaugural celebration for our University Fellows Program. I'm Julia Diggins, and I'm throwing things on the floor. I'm the interim president of the UW-Eau Claire Foundation, and I'm so glad so many of you could be here tonight. Almost 20 years ago, when I graduated from UW-Eau Claire, it was a faculty member who hosted my entire family and several other members of the UW-Eau Claire English department at his home for my graduation party. In fact, one of the members is in the room tonight, winning an award. So it was the perfect bookend to my time as a student here, because it was a coming together of all the people who had made my time here so special. I did not know at the time how lucky I was to have gone to an institution where I was close to many of the faculty members who had taught and guided me along the way. It's a big part of the reason why 20 years later, I'm so passionate about the work that I do for the UW-Eau Claire Foundation. My story is not unique. Every time I meet with an alum, I hear about their outstanding faculty members who changed their minds and their lives. The faculty really give UW-Eau Claire its magic. The UW-Eau Claire Foundation has a long history of supporting faculty through a variety of different funds. It has always been a priority for us to find ways to support the work that is done in the classroom. Last year, in a conversation with the deans, I was thrilled when we created the University Fellows Program as an additional way to support our faculty. Yet, of course, I was also nervous, as it would be our responsibility to find donors willing to generously support our faculty in this way. I could not be more humbled and honored to stand in front of you today and celebrate both the extraordinary generosity of our donors, but also the extraordinary work of the faculty they have chosen to support. It feels like a full circle moment to me as we bring together the people who made this place special for me as a student, and many of the people who are now special to me as fellow alumni and donors to the UW-Eau Claire Foundation. Thank you to the deans for your idea and for your work in making today a reality. Thank you to our faculty for always going the extra mile and changing the lives of our students and our world. And thank you to our donors who are willing to support this vision. I am so humbled and hope we can continue to add to this prestigious group of fellows each year. Now, it's my honor to introduce another person who has always supported big ideas at UW-Eau Claire, Chancellor Jim Schmidt.
Thank you, Julia. Your remarks brought back a whole flood of memories for me as well. I'm in my 10th year at UW-Eau Claire, so I didn't have the privilege. I guess I wasn't smart enough to realize we had such a great university nearby. But I have, in these past 10 years, heard the stories from our alumni as they travel the country and actually the globe and hear about those inspirational stories. I can put my own self in those shoes. Earlier this week, I decided to skip the University Senate meeting. I had a beloved faculty member at my alma mater. I went to Winona State University, not too far away. She taught my mom and my dad and my brother and myself. And she was coming up on her 96th birthday and hoping that she was going to make it to that. And I thought, I'm just going to get on the road and make sure 2.5-hour conversation. It was like I was back at their office. Vivian Priscilla, I'll use her name. Any of you seen the movie Grumpy Old Men? So Anne Margaret Roll was inspired by her. So she was still doing Snow Angels out there just a year or two ago. But it's those kinds of memories that the students at UW-Eau Claire have from those relationships. Now I better get on script, or Kim will say, I told you you had only an hour to give your speech. So I want to thank the foundation for putting this program together. I speak on behalf of the entire university to say how thrilled we are with this program, to recognize the kind of excellence that we have in our faculty. I want to give a special thank you to the benefactors who are here tonight. Some of you are joining virtually, and some people drove and flew in and spent the day traveling. In addition to your generosity, it means a lot to us that you want to be a part of this celebration. Today is a milestone in the life of the university because it's the first time in 170 years 107 years, that we've had the honor to name 10 distinguished faculty fellows who joined the 3 Carl Gard Faculty Excellence Award recipients. And this is done in great measure because of the work and dedication and the creative thinking of our deans who championed this idea with our foundation. I want to take a moment to recognize the deans who are present. First, Dr. Alex Sternfield Dunn, who's the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Brewer Duran, Dean of the College of Business. Dr. Carmen Mann, College of Education and Human Sciences. And then Dr. Debra Jansen, who's the Associate Dean of Nursing and Health Sciences, who's here on behalf of Dean Abbott Anderson, who wasn't able to join us today. Oh, there she is. So thank you to our deans for your vision and for helping our university recognize and support our exceptional faculty. Thank you for your great job. Every year I get the opportunity to meet with hundreds of alumni, and you'd be surprised where I bump into blue golds. Anytime I'm traveling, particularly if I'm going to an airport, I wear something with the blue golds on it. And I have people who chase me down in the airport. It's kind of funny when they notice the logo, it clicks in and they come to see me. And every one of them, after talking about the hill and the bridge, talk about the amazing faculty that they have here. Then twice a year, we get to invite 6 or so alumni to attend our commencement ceremonies to present them with alumni awards for their lifetime achievements. These are often business leaders, CEOs, nationally known professionals, influencers, great educators. And as a part of those ceremonies, we host a dinner and invite them to reflect on their time at UW-Eau Claire. And it is not a surprise that they talk about how individual faculty members made that difference in their life. This isn't new to us, but yet we're sometimes in the university, this is just such a tangible way for us to do this. And sometimes, of course, they talk about the other lessons they learned off campus, sometime involving Water Street. I know none of the alums here have that experience. But every dinner, we have had that opportunity to have those conversations and tears in the eyes of the alums as they're reflecting on what that has made possible for them. Never get tired of hearing those stories, and I know that we will continue to celebrate those. As chancellor, I have the wonderful privilege of being able to work with great faculty members every day. Every university says they have dedicated faculty members. That makes telling our story difficult. But I can tell you that the expectations that we have of our faculty member are different. I can recall when I first arrived on campus hearing one of our well-known distinguished faculty members relating the story to help me understand the difference. He had previously been tenured. I'm going to try to not narrow it down too much, at another great university in the South. And he was looking over his student evaluations and he just was not happy with the results. And he walked out in among the faculty offices and was kind of grousing about it. And one of the faculty members said, "You're not a very good teacher." So what are you telling me? I won faculty member of the year at the previous institution I was at. Students love me. Said, "You're not in your office hours as you should be. You're not leading one of our student organizations. You're not helping to mentor that. You talk about using similar notes that you used at your past one." And the story he told was, most students only have this as their experience. And those students' experience with the rest of the faculty at this university was highly dedicated, highly motivated, involved in undergraduate research, faculty members who I say run through walls. And so by comparison to the other faculty, those students had experienced, that person was not doing as well. Now, he had the courage to tell this story because he got his act together. And if I were to use his name here, you'd say, wow, he's one of our finest faculty members, is a great leader on these campuses and done good work. But it's that notion, the student expectation is set by the faculty as a whole. When I talk to legislators about the hard work of our faculty members, I talk about a number of things we're known for, including undergraduate research. And if a faculty member, when they apply here, does not only say they want to do undergraduate research, but can express why that's important at an undergraduate level to do that, they're not going to get hired. And if they get here and don't follow through with that, they're not going to get tenured. And I also explained to legislators who sometimes critical of tenure, as I said, tenure protects culture. And I'm fortunate enough to be at a university where excellence goes back, I think, all 107 years of this institution. And I'm proud that our faculty have protected the culture of our university and our departments and lead in innovation. I've gone way off script, so I'm going to just try to move closer to the end because you didn't come here to hear me. Today is about excellence, and that excellence is made possible by the people who came before us. I'm grateful to former chancellors, deans, department chairs, faculty leaders who've decided that this is what this institution is going to stand for. We're going to stand for excellence, and today we celebrate excellence among the many great faculty that we'll be recognizing today. And with that, I'm going to conclude our remarks. And again, I want to thank our benefactors who have made this possible. I appreciate the deans and the foundation have pulled this together. And finally, I want to give a hearty congratulations to all of the award recipients tonight. We're so proud of your work, and we know you're carrying that torch of excellence forward every day in your classrooms, your labs, off campus, and everything you do for our students. So thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. As I mentioned, this program would not be here tonight without the deans. And so I would like to introduce one of those deans, Dr. Carmen Manning, the Dean of our College of Education and Human Sciences, and invite her to say a few words.
Thank you, Julia. I appreciate that. The microphone opportunities here are endless. All right, can you hear me? Teachers always say they don't need the microphone, right? We always want to yell out and do that. So thank you so much. I'm very pleased to be able to greet you and to thank you on behalf of the 4 academic deans. My colleague Alex Sternfeld-Dunn was sort of the organizer of this particular experience for us. And he came to me and I quote, he said, "Carmen, as the senior dean, would you be willing to say a few words?" And I said, "Alex, what is it exactly that you're saying about me?" The gray hairs do attest to the fact that I am the senior dean in terms of the number of years that I've been a dean here at UW-Eau Claire. And I'm very proud to say this is my 21st year at UW-Eau Claire. I started here as a faculty member myself. I do nothing, right? I graduated college and my grad program, and I came here as a faculty member, you know, with ideas about what it meant to be a faculty member. And then I learned what it really meant to be a faculty member when I came here. And as I was reflecting on what to share today and think about what we do as faculty, I thought about one of the very first students I met. His name is Mike Skwierczynski. My Polish friend over here and I are happy about Mike Skwierczynski. He was in my very, very first class that I met during orientation week, what we used to call phase 2 orientation for all of my friends who've been around a long time. He was in my very first class, and he was an English education student in my freshman comp class, and now he is the superintendent of schools in Kaukauna, right? I think about the very first student that I published a paper with. I think about all the students that are out in the world doing the things that students do to make us so proud. And when we read the applications that came from our faculty who said, we would like to be one of the fellows, one of the inaugural fellows, what a wonderful honor that is, right? We were absolutely blown away by what we read. I mean, we know as deans, we know as colleagues that amazing things are happening on this campus every day, amazing things. But the way in which the applicants and then the recipients of these fellowships talked about their work was nothing short of awe-inspiring. And that sounds over the top, but it's not. People talked about their students and the way their students made them stronger researchers, stronger teachers, the way that they worked with colleagues, the ways in which they mentored their junior colleagues or challenged their senior colleagues. They talked about their collaboration with community partners and fellow graduates of their graduate programs at other campuses that they're working with. The work happening in terms of leadership, collegiality, and student success was nothing short of amazing. And we're so honored as deans to be able to recognize that on campus. We're so grateful to the foundation when we got together and they said, what do you need? And we said, we need to be able to recognize the work of our faculty. And the foundation said, we can do that. And they went out and they raised the funds. And we're so grateful to the donors that are here, that are online, who recognize that value of what a faculty member brings. You can all close your eyes for just a moment and think about that teacher in your life, right? Maybe it was a college professor or maybe it was another teacher, but you can put yourself in that space where you hear their words, you feel the way they challenge you to do something that you never believed that you would be able to do. And that's exactly what these fellows do every day in their classrooms, in their labs, in their community. And we're so proud of the work that you do, and we're so grateful to the donors to be able to recognize that work. So I think now we get to say who our recipients are and hear a little bit about each of them. So on behalf of the deans, let me say congratulations to all of our recipients. We're so grateful for who you are and for what you do. And I say thank you to our donors. We're so grateful for who you are and for what you do.
Yeah, so many choices. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alex Stringfeld-Dunn. I'm Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. I want to echo the statements of my colleague, Carmen Manning, just saying what a pleasure it was to review all of the applicants. And you know, it's a bit of a trope to say like everyone is amazing, but I really mean it. Everyone was amazing. And it was a very difficult decision as we looked at them. But what I'm also happy to say is I think all four of the deans as they met said, oh yeah, this is the one, this is great. So I'm going to introduce each of our award winners. I'm going to ask you to come up once I announce you, and we'll give you an award. And each of the deans, I think, will share a little bit about each recipient. One thing I'll just say in general, you know, my academic background is music composition, music theory, so we have to write bios all the time. And my favorite bio that I've ever read by another composer was, his name is Jay Batzner. Jay Batzner has had music played in important places by important people. More importantly, like he likes beer and these other things. And to say that basically every candidate and every recipient has done important and big things. And so what I'd like to share is some things that you may not be aware of or some more personal sort of notices that I have. So we're going to start with our Bartelt biology fellow, which is Dr. Jamie Lyman Gingerich in biology. Jamie joined our faculty in 2007, is a geneticist. Do you want to come up now? Come on up now. This is the awkward part where you have to stand here while I talk about you. Joined the department in 2007. So here are a couple of things that I think you should know about Jamie. As I read her materials, but also read her letters of recommendation and looked back at my own materials, I think there are some things that are really important. It's partly the culture of this university, but I think partly the person that Jamie is. As a teacher and a scientist, curriculum and pedagogy matter first. And so a lot of what I read and look at was this idea of constantly thinking about the curriculum, revising the curriculum, making sure that our students were getting the best experience they could get with her. And then also focusing on who our students were, making sure that it was a diverse body of students in the research lab. You know, STEM, like many fields, has this issue of a lack of diversity, both in scientists of color and female scientists. And Jamie has worked very hard to make sure that she's serving and recruiting a diverse lab population. So this focus on pedagogy, this focus on curriculum alongside research is a place, not just her own research, but research connected directly to teaching our students. The other piece is this part of the service to the department, which, you know, service is this thing we're supposed to do. And I don't know if Jamie does it willingly or happily, but whenever I see it, it seems to be done with joy and enthusiasm. When there's a challenge that needs to be taken on, you know, the biology department lost their ADA for a period of time. There was an award ceremony, and Jamie was one who jumped in and said, "We got to do this, and I'll help make it happen." My own personal story. This is my second year here. I moved with 2 children, and you know, when you're relocating to a new state and new city with young kids, you're trying to find some help them be grounded. And so I think it was Mary Hoffman who reached out to both Jamie and her husband Derek and said, "Hey, we've got this new dean. He's got kids. You've got kids around the same age." And Jamie and Derek and their kids came and met me and my daughters at the tennis court, and we walked back home, and we were just allowed to ask them, "What's it like being at, you know, Lakeshore and the lawn? How's the food?" And you know, no one, you didn't need to do that. Here you were trying to make a new person feel welcome. So I greatly appreciated that for me. So I think that's all I'm going to say for now. Congratulations. Yeah. All right, up next is Dr. Kati Barahona-López from Sociology. So this fellowship goes to our junior faculty members, so those who have been here for less than 6 years. Kati joined the faculty in the fall of 2020, Department of Sociology. Her research is around law, immigration, and youth. So a couple of things to know about Kati. And some of this Kati doesn't even know. One of the things I do is I meet with the chairs individually, one-on-one, twice a semester. And my first semester here, her chair, Pam Foreman, came and met with me. And one of the first things she said is, "I need to tell you about this faculty member, Kati. She's outstanding. She's the future of our department. We have to do everything we can to keep her here, to make her happy, to support her." No chair has to do that. So the fact that that's what she led with, and all of the faculty in our department really support and believe in Kati as the future, which is absolutely true. A couple of months later, you know, things were happening on our campus, and Kati reached out to me personally and said, "I want to meet with you and talk to you about some things that are going on." Now, for those of you who are not in academia, I think being a brand new faculty member and meeting with your dean one-on-one to say, like, "Here's a problem," that's scary. And one of the things I appreciate about Kati as a faculty member is her bravery. Her bravery in confronting difficult things, helping our students deal with difficult topics, and helping them see themselves in a bigger, better part of the world. Another thing that some junior faculty will do at other universities is they will become self-protective about everything. And you sort of think in your mind, does this help me get tenure? Does this not help me get tenure? If it's not going to help me get tenure, I'm not doing it. And you can become very selfish as a junior faculty member. That is not Kati. Kati jumps in to everything. She is serving this year as an undeclared faculty mentor. I served as a translator for one of our Latin American Latinx studies programs. She served as an affiliate for other programs. She cares deeply about this institution and the students here. So we are fortunate to have Kati as one of our colleagues. So congratulations, Kati. So not here today, but we will still say a few kind words, is Dr. Kaia Simon. Kaia Simon is the winner of the Debra Maben Fellowship, which was for faculty in the humanities. Kaia joined our faculty in 2017. Kaia has one of the most difficult tasks, I think, in the English department, which she coordinates our writing program, which meets the needs for every single student who comes to our campus. Her job is to corral a whole English department around a singular curriculum to help our students be better writers and better communicators. And if any of you work with faculty, that is no easy task. And Kaia does it willingly, with passion and commitment. She is another one who gives her all to this campus and to the people at the campus. So I would say that the English department is a better place because of Kaia Sullivan. So congratulations to Kaia. I'm sorry she couldn't join us in person today. Next, we have Dr. Asha Sen, who is our Grace Lau Fellow. Asha joined the faculty in 1996. This award is for our senior faculty. Is that the title that we use? I don't know, as a junior dean. So Asha joined the faculty in 1996 in the English department with a focus on post-colonial literature and theory. The thing that I think you should know about Asha is not only a deep commitment to our students, but a deep commitment to equity, diversity, and justice. And I think it has informed everything she has done in her career here. More important to that, though, is making sure that her colleagues share that same passion. She has been a mentor to many of our junior faculty who come in. Over time, she's served as chair of what was then Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. I think it may have been Women's Studies when we started. It is now a new department named Race, Ethnicity, Gender, Sexuality Studies. She serves on the college's task force for EDI. And another one who happily came and met with me in my office said, I need to talk to you about the things that are going on, the things that I've experienced, and I think ways we can make this place better. So that commitment to making sure that every single student feels welcomed, feels seen and treated fairly and safely, and every faculty member and every staff member is deeply rooted, I think, in everything that Asha does. So we are lucky to have her, and to have her as long committed to this place, this institution is better because of Dr. Asha Sen. So congratulations. All right, our next award is for Dr. Josh Brown. Come on up, Josh. Josh, let me get my notes. Josh joined the Faculty of Languages in 2011 with a specialty in German and linguistics, but also someone who studies heritage language, the Amish, the Dutch Pennsylvanians, religion. Here's what I want to tell you about Josh Brown. It's actually not about Josh Brown, but it kind of is. To start with, when I first got here, my associate deans were sort of debriefing me about different departments and different faculty. And one of my associate deans, Mark Goulet, when we got to the Department of Languages, said, Josh Brown, he's amazing. He's one of our best teachers. Oh, we're so lucky to have Josh Brown. And that is the understatement of the century. As I've gotten to know Josh and seen him work with our students, I think there are a few things to point out. His commitment to our students. The German department has one of the largest population of Fulbright scholars on our campus that come from our students who work with Josh. Josh is the Swiss Army knife of a scholar, right? We can put him in German courses, we put him in linguistics courses, we put him in honors courses, and he does them all, and he does them all well. His students will often rave about him, how he makes them feel safe and seen in their classes. Learning language is so difficult, and Josh manages to make it not scary at all. Rate my professor, which we can take with a big grain of salt, but go to Josh Brown's Rate My Professor. You've got students who are just, fawning over his ability to help them communicate. And I think one of the really special things is Josh's own background, I think, really informs him and how he teaches our students as a first-generation student, as someone who came from a rural community. And he talks about that. He talks about that in the way for many of our students who are also first-generation, who also come from rural communities. They see that there's a future for them that can involve higher education, that this is a doable thing. And it's because of Josh. So congratulations, Josh. Thank you for everything you've done. Okay, with that, I think it's time to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Brewer-Durand in the College of Business.
Thank you, Alex. We have 2 awards in the College of Business, and I'm going to start with our senior award, which goes to Scott Swanson. Scott, if you can come up. It's the College of Business Faculty Excellence Award, and it's supported by our Faculty Excellence Fund. So a number of donors throughout the College of Business. One of the things I think you're getting a little bit of a taste of is that we were not just looking for scholars. We were looking for faculty who brought everything to the table. We stole Scott from UW-Whitewater a number of years ago, and fortunately, he's never looked back. And he's always stepped up whenever we needed him. And in fact, the College of Business is going through a reorg right now. And with a little bit of arm twisting, Scott agreed to become the inaugural chair of our new marketing and supply chain management department. So stepping up with just the ask, because he wants to put his colleagues and his students first. And that's really, it's the number one value. It's the one thing we really adhere to in the College of Business, that students come first. And that's equally true for Scott. He is a prodigious researcher with about 7,500 citations, 9 Best Paper Awards, a Best Reviewer Award, and was the 2022 winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award of the American Marketing Association. He's also an outstanding teacher who's won numerous teaching awards. In addition, he's the longtime advisor to the College of Business chapter of the American Marketing Association, where he's led the chapter to 3 awards as the top international collegiate chapter. That's an amazing story of getting students to understand what they can become and where they can exceed every expectation they've ever had. And in fact, tomorrow he has 80 students coming from across the area. 150, I was told 80. Okay, we also have Admitted Students Day in the same room at the same time. So we're gonna have a fun day tomorrow. But Scott is really the epitome of what you look for in a senior faculty member who mentors junior faculty, who works with his students, and who's an outstanding teacher in addition to being an outstanding scholar. So congratulations, Scott. Dan Gullifor is the Tyler Patterson Early Career Fellowship Award winner. Dan, can you come up? We call him Dan, but I understand if his mother's in attendance, it should be Daniel. Dan has only been with us since 2019 because he earned his PhD from Texas Tech in 2019. And he's already established himself as a research leader in the College of Business, even in those 4 years. And in spite of the fact that a year in, not even a year in, he got hit with COVID along with the rest of us, but it was a really hard time for new faculty to start up. His discipline interests include organizational behavior, leadership, and he has a really interesting specialty in his research on the imposter syndrome. So he researches why people get into leadership roles and feel like, how did I get here? Why am I here? What am I doing? And so it's really interesting. And he's having a little imposter syndrome right now. He's a great colleague who has established himself as a very strong instructor. He gets great evaluations from the students. Students just sort of light up when he's around. He very quickly became the advisor to Beta Gamma Sigma, which is the Business Honor Society. And we were very glad when he came, because you have to be a member of Beta Gamma Sigma as a student to be able to be an advisor for Beta Gamma Sigma. So he started very early with his excellence, but he's led the chapter for a couple of years now. And each year that he has been the advisor to Beta Gamma Sigma, they have risen and gotten higher levels of awards. So Dan is one of those people who came, hit the ground running. Didn't matter what we threw at him, whether it was COVID, whether it was different teaching assignments, whether he wasn't used to coming from Texas Tech, whether it was new fatherhood in the middle of fall term. He's taken it all in stride, and we have really great expectations for what he's going to be able to do in the future. Congratulations, Dan. And now I'm going to turn the mic back over to Dean Manning for her awards.
Well, it's my pleasure to announce the Shirley Paulson-Lee Education Fellow, Dr. Anjela Wong. Anjela joined the department in the year that I became dean. And so I feel in some ways that Anjela and I have grown up together a little bit in the education department and in the college. Anjela is so deeply, deeply committed to her students, both their academic growth, but also their growth as a human being. And I watch her in her classes as she challenges students to grow and learn new things, hard things, right? Anjela teaches in our, does Joy Justice want to come up with you? Yeah, they can if they want to come up. I watch Anjela challenge her students to learn new things. She teaches in our Foundations of Education program. Not easy classes to teach, right? Asking students to explore their own issues of privilege and oppression and to share about that and think about how they will handle those experiences when they themselves are a teacher. And so I appreciate Anjela's leadership. She came to me and said, we need to do something. We need to do something to support our students of color in the teacher education program. And I said, okay, how do we do that? And Anjela formed a network and brought students together and leaders together to work with them and helped in all the ways to support our students. And so her research focuses on listening to the voices of those who have been historically marginalized and collaboratively raising up those voices. In all ways, she is a scholar teacher and a teacher scholar, and I'm very proud that you are my colleague. Congratulations, Anjela. Distracted by the baby. If anybody knows me, you know I always get distracted by the babies. Now I'd like to introduce my colleague, Dr. Deb Jansen, to present the nursing award.
Thank you, Dr. Manning. It is indeed quite the honor and pleasure to present the inaugural Suzanne Strowing Faculty Award in Nursing to Dr. Jeanette Olsen. If you would come up here, Dr. Olsen. Since coming to UW-Eau Claire in 2017, Dr. Olsen has been a truly outstanding member of the Department of Nursing and also of the college, particularly known for her excellence in teaching and to prove that. So, in fact, she received the university's Excellence Award in teaching, and that was back in 2021. And that before that, she received the college's Cecilia Zorn Exemplary Teaching Award in 2020. Now, a person has to keep in mind, Dr. Olsen came in 2017, and she's already accomplished that. Many of us have been here a lifetime and don't have that much to show for it. So now her service also has been remarkable. So she chairs the Nursing Assessment and Evaluation Committee and is on the University Assessment Committee. And this is in conjunction with her role as director for the nursing department of our assessment and evaluation. And in nursing, it is an accredited program. So assessment and evaluation is a big deal. So something we have to have, and she's guided us through accreditation. So thank you for that. So now we are quite delighted that Dr. Olsen is receiving this award, and she is planning to use this support to help, she says, strengthen her scholarship and to build her skills with nursing informatics. But I have to point out, she's actually quite strong in those areas already. I mean, I just saw like a little news blurb in our university bulletin or so about publishing a book chapter now. Let's see, I know it was in a nursing informatics book, I believe. So congratulations. I mean, we are just so delighted you are here. Thank you.
Thought you were done with me, but you're not. I have the honor of bringing up the next award winner, which is Professor Robert Durst, who is the recipient of the Lowe's Fishman Faculty Excellence in Biology Award. So I want to talk, we call it inside baseball. You may not be aware of this, but there's a couple of classifications of faculty. So we have what are called the tenured and tenure track faculty, who are expected to do teaching, research, service, demonstrate commitment to EDI, and it's a great position. There's this other category of faculty we refer to as IAS, instructional academic staff, and technically their only job is to come and teach. They're supposed to teach. They come here, they teach their classes, they go home. Professor Durst falls into that category of IAS, but he's not a very good IAS faculty member, because he doesn't just come and teach his class and go home. He does a tremendous amount of service to the department. He's an active member of this community, this Blue Gold community. He teaches primarily in this curriculum that's anatomy and physiology, which is not for biology students, but for our nursing students, our kinesiology students. And it's a tremendous amount of work. And he joined our faculty in 2019 in this discipline that's very hands-on and applied. And then COVID hits, and you got to figure out, how do I take this course that's almost completely hands-on in this way and now deliver it virtually? And Professor Durst sort of led the way to do that with his other colleagues. But he does far more than just the work for that class. He serves the department. Every time I go to a faculty meeting for that department, Professor Durst is there. Bob is there. He's a committed member of that department. I think the best summary I've got is actually from his recommendation letter, which came from Jamie and Derek Gingerich. Bob is a person who effectively identifies a need, crafts a plan to address that need, puts that plan into action, and then sustains the new approach. His students sort of feel the same way. You can read his teaching evaluations, they're very high. They see him as someone who's committed to their learning, to helping them become better practitioners, to know not just the human body, but to be critical thinkers about it. So thank you and congratulations, Professor Durst.
Good evening. I'm Kim Raway, and I'm the CEO of the UW-Eau Claire Foundation, and I've had the privilege and honor of working here for a number of years. And so many of the sponsors of these awards I've had the honor of working with. And I stood in the back of the room because I got a chance to look before the sunset up on top of the hill. And there on top of the hill are the towers, the Karlgaard Towers. And they're named in honor of David and Marilyn Karlgaard. And so I have the privilege of presenting the Karlgaard Faculty Excellence Awards. And, you know, what's really amazing about Dave and Marilyn is that almost 20 years ago, they started an incredible scholarship fund where they provide very, very generous scholarships to several computer science majors. And so over the years, they've supported more than 100, probably 120 students with very significant scholarships. As a matter of fact, they live out in Virginia. They have a room in their house. Every year we take a picture of all of the Carl Guard scholars, and they sign, the students sign them at. And they have framed pictures, and their whole office, Dave's office, is lined with those pictures of such a legacy. And Dave and Marilyn are online here. So hi, Dave and Marilyn. But when they started this scholarship fund, they also started a fund to reward outstanding teaching and outstanding service and research work at the Department of Computer Science. And they supported that for a number of years. And that I want to give the deans credit for this award, but actually they were kind of the impetus of really doing something for faculty, because a number of years ago, they started some faculty awards for faculty in computer science, physics, and math, which were Dave's primary academic areas. So when we got this nugget of an idea with the deans to do something, I talked to Dave and Marilyn and said, can we please, would you consider kind of growing the awards that you're doing into faculty fellows? And so their fellows are awarded to the faculty in the departments of physics, math, and computer science. And so they're supporting 3 fellows in those 3 areas. And I can't think of a better investment, because one of the things that we've talked to donors about in introducing this is, you know, we've always raised scholarships for students, and scholarships for students are tremendous. And we've had a great history of doing that. But when you think about it, when you recognize a faculty member, think about the ripple effect of the impact of that faculty member. We can get a scholarship for one student, and it's a tremendous investment in that one student's life. But when we honor you as faculty, think of the impact that you've had on hundreds and thousands of students, and the work that you're doing, and the way that really flows out and ripples out. And that's actually, and I hope I'm not stealing your, that's actually why we give this starfish. I'm not a starship. I'm not a space starship person. But there's a story about the starfish, in that it's a story, and some of you may have heard of it. We've used this for the foundation for years, in that there was a kind of a crabby old person walking along the beach one day, and he noticed a young child further down bending and picking up something and throwing it back into the ocean. And he was watching and couldn't figure out what this child was doing. So I came up to him and he said, you know, what are you doing? And the child said, well, you know, when the tide comes in, it washes all the starfish up on the beach. And then when the tide goes out, the starfish are left on the beach and they dry up and die. And he said, I'm throwing them back in the ocean. And the man said, but there's lots and lots of beach and lots of starfish. How can you make a difference? And the child picks up one of the starfish, throws it back in the ocean, and said, I made a difference for that one. And so that's why we give the starfish, is to remind you every day, recipients of our inaugural awards, that look at the starfish and remember how much of a difference you're making every day in the work you do. And so thank you for the work you're doing. And especially thank you to Dave and Marilyn for supporting the Faculty Excellence Awards in these 3 areas. And we have one of the recipients, unfortunately, one of the recipients is ill tonight, and the other one had a conflict as well. So I'd like to ask Dr. Jim Salea, who is the Carl Guard Faculty Excellence Award in Computer Science, to come forward. And I have to have a true admission, I don't have any of your background of why you received the awards. They were awarded quite a while ago, so this is a catch up, but we're so honored that you are the first recipient of this university fellowship award. So.
Because I'm not going to say very much. That really concludes our inaugural University Fellows program. Thank you all for being here. This was just a joy for me, and I hope it was for you as well. So thank you all very, very much. And I hope we can be back here next year celebrating again. Thank you.